Hello Virgo, and welcome to your monthly reading. So this is a reading for July 2023 for Virgo sun or rising signs. So this is the reading where we will go through the month in progression, see how it's unfolding, take a look at what an overall theme for the month is, any kinds of challenges that are coming up, and how to move through them. All right, and if you have been joining me a little bit more recently, or you haven't been to the channel a while, you might not know that I was incorporating astrology into the videos, but it's making them pretty long, so I started moving those into separate videos, astrological highlights, and you can find that. Actually, I have a playlist on my channel where you can find the astrological highlights, although I will have that up on the screen towards the end of this reading as well. Feeling these two. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Actually, I think I want to stick with this deck for taking a look at the challenge as well. And spiritual advice. Okay. All right, Virgo, so if this is something that you feel you would like to see more videos like this, make sure that you are subscribed and you hit the notification bell so you don't miss these and the other astrological videos and stuff that I put out. All right, let's get into it. So we're taking a look at the overall theme of the month, what is kind of coloring the month, and we have Saturn showing up. Really interesting, you know, just to see Saturn showing up given what we have going on astrologically. Like I said, I'm not going to get into that in this video. That'll be in a separate video that you'll see coming out. So, but Saturn having to do with like, what are you committed to? What are the structures in your life? Is there a restructuring of any areas of your life? It can have to do with work. Often Saturn does get associated with our career path, that kind of a thing. So yeah, it might have to do with that, but this could also be, especially because we've got Venus going retrograde this month, it's already been in shadow, could be about looking at the structure of your relationship, for instance, or like relationships and like how that is, like the foundation of that is, but not necessarily, right? So Saturn having to do with what we're committed to, what structures we're creating, what kinds of boundaries we have. Also the maturation of our skills in a certain direction. So like what we are looking to master in this world, you know, certainly Saturn has to do with lessons and whatnot. And maybe even some of you, if you're experiencing some of the, more challenging aspects of Saturn, that might look like also feeling like constricted in some way in some area of your life and starting to notice that there needs to be some kind of shift inside of that. Maybe feeling like, you know, the walls are kind of closing in certain areas, or feeling like maybe suppressed or oppressed in some way. Those are some of the shadowy kind of aspects of that. So I like to mention the overall so that you can kind of see what's applicable to you. Obviously it's a collective reading, so you know, not going to hit for every Virgo every single month, every time, right? So if this is your message and it resonates, awesome, it was your message this month. If it doesn't, maybe check out your rising sign if this is your sun sign, right? And see if that resonates more. Obviously a one-to-one reading is going to be the best way to get the most accurate reading. So we start out with the Ace of Wands in the beginning of the month. Middle of the month we move into Temperance, and in the end of the month we move into the Two of Wands. I like that there's a progression happening here. Nine of Pentacles being something that is a challenge that's coming up for you, and then we have the Four of Swords coming up as your spiritual advice. So starting with the Ace of Wands, you know, in the beginning of this month, I feel like beginning of July, there is some kind of burst of like a spark, an energy that is moving through you that you get hit with, like being lit up about, right? So the first part of the month, I think, has more to do with that. For those of you who are dealing with like dating or relationships or those kinds of things, this is a very like sexy kind of flirtatious type of energy. So if you are looking at things in terms of relationships, that could be up for you. If that's not the case, I would say this is kind of like being handed a torch from the skies, like from the divine, from your guides, from the ether, whatever, however you want to look at that, about what you feel lit up about, what you feel like a lot of creativity coming through about, like that energy coming through, maybe you putting that creativity towards creating something, but feeling like you have that burst of like an epiphany and an inspiration for creativity, what lights you up. and the desire to take that and run with it, to put that into motion, to put that into action and into creation. When we come into the middle of the month, we have the Temperance card, and I feel like you're finding a third way of doing things, like another path, like perhaps where you have been looking at like the direction to go in or what to focus your time, energy, and attention in, like certain areas of your life. And this is kind of a melding of different areas of your life and finding what's harmonious and what's more in balance. And from that mixture, from that coming together, finding a third way, a third path. If this has to do with like something to do with a mastery of like skills and things of that nature, I would say that perhaps you are finding a different way that feels more authentic to your true self, that feels more aligned with your true self, finding another way to do things than whatever you have been taught. So like maybe you've been a student for a while, maybe you've been taking in information for a while, and so now you're synthesizing that information, blending it together, and finding a new way of doing it than your like mentors or teachers, which is just part of the path, right? That's part of like what we all go through. So that's an energy that's coming up in the center of the month here. And then we end off the month with the Two of Wands. So obviously there's a progression happening. You start off with the Ace of Wands, bookended the month with the Two of Wands. I really like when I see a nice clean progression like that. There is this standing at the precipice of your entire life before you, like the land, the whole world is before you. The world is your oyster. It's at your fingertips. And you are basically making some decisions about which path you really want to traverse, right? Like which direction. If you could create your life in whichever way you wanted, if the world was your oyster, you could go in any direction. This is really about starting to bring together those ideas, those epiphanies, that like fire, that light, all of this information that you're getting in the middle of the month, and starting to really formulate, okay, like I'm gonna make a choice now. I'm going to make a decision, right? Twos are definitely about like that choice factor, making a choice. So I feel like you're landing on like a decision about where to go, like which path you're going to take. And I think it's going to become a lot more clear towards the end of the month. I see coming up with the challenge, like there's some stuff around possible like self-worth. Whether you feel ready or worthy or like you know enough or are good enough to proceed down this particular path, like whatever you're feeling inspired by, right? And so this is about maybe feeling challenged by that and needing to own it. Also, I just want to bring up, because we have that Venus going retrograde and the nodes are also switching into new signs, but that's a whole other thing that I'll talk about in the other astrological highlight videos. But this also has to do with our values, right? Not just our self-worth, but also our values when we're looking at Pentacles, especially Nine of Pentacles. But like when we're looking at Pentacles, we're bringing into the picture like our values. Also finances. Finances, I think, could be up for a couple of you as well, but I feel like this has more to do with that evaluating your values and your self-worth and your enoughness as you're progressing, as you're deciding like where you want to go, what you want to do with this creative energy, how you're blending things together and creating a new path for yourself, and then deciding how you want that path to unfold, what you're creating in that space. And so it would make sense that this would come up as like a possible feeling of like challenged by it, or something that is, needing to be worked through. For some of you that might feel more challenging than others, and for some of you that might just make sense, like, oh yeah, that's kind of what I'm dealing with, and it's a little bit hard to be with, or it might feel like it muddies the waters a little bit at times because there's some feelings or things to work through, but doesn't feel too like monumental in terms of challenge. The advice that you're getting with that is to make sure that you're taking time out for yourself. Make sure that you're taking some time to rest and to integrate. This is an integration card, right? So Four of Swords is about resting, rejuvenating, recharging your battery, making sure that you're getting some of that time on your own so that you have the ability to hear your inner voice, feel your feelings, like the feelings that bubble up to the surface, the thoughts that are there, the daydreams, the dreams that are there, all of your experiences that you've been having recently, being able to have the space to let them like sink in, to integrate, to become a part of. and taking care of your health as well. So that is the spiritual advice that I see coming through for you here. So, you know, if this is resonating, if this feels like it has, and you've gotten something from it, please consider giving the video a like. It does help as I'm building the channel. And also, as always, please like and subscribe, or please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It does help. But also, if you just don't want to miss any of the videos that come out, I have bi-weekly videos for the cards besides the monthly, and now I'm doing astrological highlight videos. I've been doing those bi-weekly for the month, and I'm thinking about switching the format over to experiment with doing like smaller videos throughout the month. So we'll just see how that rolls, but I'll have that up on the screen for at least the first video of July on the astrological highlights up here. So that is all. Thank you for being here. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.